Okay, gang. Let me get this to focus. This one in this case is a solve. It's not an identity. We have to give our answers between 0 and 2 pi. So don't add any n's anywhere. Let me write down the formula for the expansion of cosine. So remember, if it's positive, it's negative. So in this problem, this is u, this is v. So I'm going to put this into the expansion. So we're going to start with cosine of u. So cosine of x times cosine of v. So cosine of pi. All right, now we're going to subtract. Sine of u is x. Sine of v is pi. And there's no formulas for the rest of this stuff. You just rewrite it. Okay, so let's evaluate what we can. Cosine of pi is -1. Sine of pi is 0. So we're on the unit circle there. You're over here. It's -1, 0. Cosine's -1, sine is 0. So this is -1 times cosine, which makes negative cosine. 0 times anything is 0. So I'm just going to bring the rest of this stuff down. All right, these are like terms, so they can be added together. Now we're solving this trig equation, so you want to isolate the trig. So I'll move the 1 to the other side. I'll get the cosine by itself. All right, so now we're going to solve this on 1 revolution, right? Because I said 1 revolution. So I first have to figure out where the cosine is negative. The cosine is negative to the left, so it would be this quadrant and this quadrant. All right, it's giving me the sides. This is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, so the adjacent is 1, the hypotenuse is 2, which means that the third side is radical 3. All right, and now I have to just give the answers in standard position. So, oops, hold on a second. We have to figure out what the reference angle is. If you're across from radical 3, you have to be 60 degrees, or pi over 3, whichever way you're writing it. On the final exam test 3, you could just, whichever form you want to write it in is fine. So now let's go in standard position. So the first guy, the first answer rotating to here, x sub 1. How you're going to calculate that is that's going to be pi minus pi over 3, which is going to end up being 2 pi over 3. If you're writing it in degrees, you're doing 180 minus 60, so you're going to say 120. That's also the correct answer, okay? All right, the second answer, we got to start in standard position, rotate to here. So the second answer is going to be pi plus pi over 3, which is 4 pi over 3. Okay, if you want to stay in degrees, you're going to do 180 plus 60, which is 240. So if you hand it in like that, that's perfect. Okay, gang, so that's the answer. On 1 revolution, that's the answer. If they wanted all solutions, you would add 2 pi n to each of these because they're not equidistant. All right, hope you enjoyed that. That's pretty much it for this section. There's not a whole bunch of stuff we're going to do in this section. So work on these problems and see how they go. I'll catch you, gang. Bye-bye.